Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears up to some of the travails and tribulations that take place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. And for my continued followers, you should know that I've done almost 900 videos over the last year between my YouTube channel and TikTok, and I have will bring up storylines that resonate throughout all of our many of our cities in the United States, and like, as I say, sometimes around the world. But I try not to ignore or not bring to light some of the things that take place in two cities that are close to my heart: Chicago, Illinois, and St. Louis, Missouri. My mother's from Chicago, my dad's from St. Louis. I've lived in both cities, and sometimes it's painful and heartfelt to bring up stories that need to shed some light on things that are going on in these two particular cities that are in the heartland and Midwest in the United States, Chicago and St. Louis, right here in the Midwest. Well, I got one for you straight out of St. Louis, and this has everything to do with the Archdiocese, the Catholic Archdiocese. And for those who have been to St. Louis or who haven't, St. Louis has a very high concentration of Catholics and definitely Catholic schools. One of the number one questions that someone will ask you in St. Louis is, what high school did you go to? That is the very first question. Not what college, what law school, what medical school. They want to know which high school, because it's a socio-economic question to put you in this little box. I don't know any other city that does that. So with saying that, with St. Louis being heavily inundated with Catholics and Catholic schools, this particular story is going to have a black eye on the Catholic Archdiocese and the rumors of alleged abuse. So this is a new case that has come out, and I want to share it with you. Lawsuit alleges St. Louis Archdiocese enabled and covered up SA abuse of minors for decades. 25 plaintiffs are demanding a jury trial, alleging the Archdiocese failed to protect them and covered up SA abuse they endured as children. A lawsuit filed Wednesday in St. Louis Circuit Court accuses the Archdiocese of St. Louis of knowingly enabling and covering up the SA abuse of minors by its clergy members for decades. The lawsuit lists 25 plaintiffs, identified by their initials only, and names as defendants against the Archdiocese: Archbishop Michael Rosansky, and an unnamed priest identified as John Doe 1. So the alleged abuse has to deal with Archbishop Mitchell Rosansky and an unnamed priest identified as John Doe 1. The plaintiffs are represented by attorneys Bailey and Glasser, LLC, Levy Cornisberg, LLP, and Randall's Mata, LLC. Todd Matthews, an attorney with Bailey and Glasser, said in an email that he was in the process of filing similar lawsuits on behalf of about 35 more plaintiffs for alleged abuse that occurred in St. Louis, Jefferson, Franklin, and St. Charles County. So there was 25 people in this first complaint, and he's saying there's another 35 individuals that have alleged complaints against the St. Louis Archdiocese. This is what it says. The plaintiffs are demanding a jury trial and asking for compensatory, statutory, punitive, and other damages for 10 counts alleged in the suit. And here are the counts: childhood SA abuse, intentional failure to supervise clergy, negligent failure to supervise children and report SA abuse, negligence per se, breach of special relationship duty, fraud and conspiracy to commit fraud, fraudulent misrepresentation, constructive fraud, intentional infliction of emotional distress, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and essay abuse. Those are against John Doe 1, the priest, and aiding and abetting. It also says that defendants have covered up, talking about St. Louis Archdiocese, and concealed their own intentional misconduct in enabling this essay abuse by exploiting the trusting and confidential relationships the defendants encouraged and established with plaintiffs while they were impressionable young children, the lawsuit states. The shameless cover-up spanned decades and allowed various clergy and other employees to access and sexually abuse numerous children, including plaintiffs, and hindered plaintiffs from discovering their causes of action against the defendants for their negligent and intentional conduct. The St. Louis Archdiocese is also accused of regularly transferring employees who committed abuse to different locations within the Archdiocese or the Catholic Church, or sending them away for treatment, before returning them back to unsupervised access to children, the lawsuit states. The suit laid out the disturbing and harrowing stories of alleged essay abuse that the plaintiffs, who are now adults living in Missouri and elsewhere, endured as children. It goes on to say that several priests were named in the suit, many of whom received convictions for essay abuse or child P, or were the subject of civil suits citing essay abuse. The lawsuit detailed how the Archdiocese responded to each priest's case, alleging they repeatedly knowingly covered up details and failed to take action to protect children. The priest listed as defendants, John Doe 1, was a priest at St. Ambrosius Church when the lawsuit alleges he abused one of the plaintiffs. According to the lawsuit, the victim doesn't currently know the priest's full name, and the lawsuit will add his name once it is confirmed. It goes on to say that several of the other plaintiffs who also did not know their abuser's full name, often only knowing them as Father James or Father such and such when they were children. And I went to Catholic schools, and that's correct. You call him Father John, Father David, or Father Solomon. It never was their first and last name. Their full identities were expected to be learned during the course of the discovery. 5 on your side asked the Archdiocese for a statement or interview after hours on Wednesday night, as well as Thursday morning and Thursday afternoon, prior to and after a demonstration by advocates for the Survivors Network of Those Abused by Priests, called SNAP, Survivors Network of Those Abused by Priests. David Clohessy is the volunteer director for Missouri SNAP, and he said, Missouri is definitely among the worst states in terms of child protection. He said there's plenty of archaic, predator-friendly, arbitrary laws like the statute of limitations. Plenty of needless deadlines that end up adversarially against the abusers, not the abused. Clohessy cited current Missouri laws as one of the reasons religious abuse cases are commonly civil and not criminal. He says that we've long pushed for secular legal reform, and we're almost always met with pushback from Catholic lobbyists. It goes on to say that Susan Hurt, a young lady, experienced pushback in 2021 when she brought her abuse case before the Archdiocese. She said the person parishioners are told to contact if they have experienced abuse gave a heads up to the priest who abused her. Hurt told Five on Your Side, when the police did talk to the priest, he was surrounded by Archdiocese lawyers. It was also prearranged so that he was protected. He was just covered, and he was covered by the Archdiocese. So it was all prearranged so that he was protected. He was just covered by the Archdiocese. Hurt then shared a follow-up that echoed in a 74-page lawsuit filed on Wednesday, saying he was transferred within the diocese to another parish with a school. In a message to the 25 plaintiffs in the new lawsuit, Chloe Hesse said that no matter how it is resolved, these admirable survivors have already won. They've made huge strides toward rebuilding their lives and taking control of their futures. We hope they feel some relief and pride in having taken this big, brave step towards justice. So, this is a real big shakedown in the city of St. Louis. As I said, there is a heavy preponderance of Catholics and Catholic schools. It does build a socio-economic and social cultural status for parents to say that my child goes to this private school, not only private, but Catholic, and has a religious base behind it. That is a major thing in St. Louis. You talk to people in Chicago, they'll talk about being from the south side versus the west side of Chicago. You talk to people in New York, they'll talk about the 5 boroughs, Brooklyn, Bronx, things of that nature. So many cities, in Los Angeles is what neighborhood, Compton, Watts, where are you from? But St. Louis is definitely heavy about what Catholic school did you attend, whether you're Catholic or not. As I said, it's a socio-economic status. And so for the St. Louis Archdiocese to be hit with this in today's time, it is going to affect enrollment. It is going to affect the popular, the non-popular or unpopular aspect of even sending your kids to private Catholic grammar schools and high schools. We know that the numbers are down now. There are many charter schools and private non-religious schools that are in existence today that have taken many of these kids away from these Catholic schools now. There have been several Catholic schools in St. Louis that have closed, in Chicago that have closed because of enrollment to the schools are down. Also, the enrollment of parishioners and those who are actively supporting their local Catholic church, those numbers are down. Urban sprawl has contributed to a decrease in the number of city individuals that used to attend Catholic schools. Part of what people don't know, part of the Catholic philosophy and mission statement is to be in the cities of our major cities, in blighted communities. So you're not going to find a lot of Catholic schools in suburbia. But due to suburban sprawl, a lot of people have moved out of these cities like Chicago, like St. Louis, and enrollment subsequently in these schools have gone down. Well, these lawsuits and years of rumblings of abuse that we've all heard, and the stereotype with priests, unfortunately, is going to definitely negatively impact the support and enrollment of these Catholic institutions. This has been going on for decades. We've had allegations of the Boy Scouts, many organizations that have dealt with children where there has been alleged abuse for decades. Now it's finally getting exposed through social media, national media. In today's time, you cannot swipe hardly anything under the rug. And one wrong decision could character assassinate a person, a group, an organization, let alone a religious establishment. It could destroy their reputation that they built for hundreds of years in one day. The power of the push of a button, information is disseminated so fast, whether it's correct or incorrect, but Thankfully for these individuals, if these allegations are true, that hopefully they can find some vindication in their civil and criminal lawsuits. And abuse to children is not right, no matter if you are under a religious cloth or you're just a regular human being. And to have all of this kind of child abuse that you're hearing about day in and day out, one story after another, what parents are doing to children, what parents are doing to stepchildren, what foster parents are doing to foster kids, this level of abuse is just horrific. And now you're seeing, even with the Catholic Church, these are individuals who have made a lifetime commitment to helping people out in the light, but in the shade of darkness, they are being very hypocritical and are hurting our children, and physically hurting them psychologically, and definitely hurting their souls. And this needs to stop. Anybody that's abusing children, whether you're a Catholic priest or just a regular person, you should pay the piper for the conscious intent to harm, especially a young innocent kid. That should not go on at all, and these individuals need to be placed under the jail, and organizations, individuals need to pay a large civil penalty for the abuse that they are perpetrating against young innocent kids. These kids are going to be changed forever. We talk about mental illness, you talk about stress and anxiety, all of those are real things. And for individuals who are in leadership positions, let alone the religious cloth, where parents are trusting these individuals to protect their children, kids are coming to these priests and to these administrators looking for leadership and mentorship, and for them to diabolically decide to harm these kids in the most egregious and heinous ways, you need to throw the book at them. So there's a huge lawsuit going on in St. Louis, the St. Louis Archdiocese, where there are over 30 plaintiffs that have filed criminal and civil lawsuits against some of these priests. And please tell me what you think about this storyline, about how the Catholic Archdiocese has protected these priests over many, many decades and many, many years by displacing them to other places, settling quiet civil suits, not allowing these priests to be criminally charged and sent to prison. So that lends these priests to think that they have not only a godly protection, but they have a human legal protection, to where they think they can, some of these individuals think they can do whatever they want to do. And that's not it. We all have to pay the piper when we cross the line of criminality, no matter if you have a Catholic cloth on, a Baptist, a Presbyterian, or whatever religious order you come from. Wrong is wrong. Tell me what you think. This has been the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth in a positive, righteous, and God-fearing way.